Unit 9, Lesson 4. Let's do these 6 try these. So I'm going to start here by identifying where it's 240 degrees. I know 24 divides by 3 8 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's right about here. I'm always going back to the x-axis, and it's this interior angle that I'm going to be evaluating. This is 60, 30, and the right triangle. So this is the angle that I'm going to be assessing. All right, what is sine? Sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Opposite of 60 degrees is radical 3, and then the hypotenuse is 2. Now the cosine is going to be the adjacent side. So what is adjacent to 60 degrees? What's adjacent to 60, but not the hypotenuse, is 1. 1 over 2. Now what is the tangent? Tangent is going to be opposite of 60, so opposite of 60 over the adjacent side, so radical 3 over 1. Now I'm just going to flip each one of these. Oh, let me come back here. 2 over radical 3, 2 over 1, and 1 over radical 3. Mathematically, they are not right, but they're not in proper form. So I'm going to multiply the top and the bottom by radical 3 to get 2 radical 3 over 3. 2 is just fine. And multiply by radical 3 to get radical 3 over 3. Let's find negative 45 degrees. Negative 45 is right here. So these are each 45 degree measurements. So opposite of 45 would be 1, and the hypotenuse would be the square root of 2. So this is the interior angle that I'm evaluating. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, 1 over radical 2. I'll come back to that. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, 1 over radical 2. And tangent is going to be opposite over adjacent, 1 over 1. Well, when I take 1 over 1 and I flip it, I still get 1 over 1. And I'm remembering right now, I forgot about all-star trig class. So I forgot to come back here. This angle lands in quadrant 3, and in quadrant 3, only tangent and the reciprocal are positive. So I need to throw a negative into these other parts, just one negative in there. Coming back here, so I'm in quadrant number 4. And now this isn't wrong, so when I flip it, I get radical 2 over 1, radical 2 over 1. All that is great, but I need to put the sine and the cosine in a proper form because we can't leave it with a square root in the denominator. So I get the square root of 2 over 2. Square root of 2 over 2. Now in quadrant 4, only the cosine, so cosine and the reciprocal are positive. Everything else that's a negative, negative, and negative. Where is 480? Well, 480 is more than 360. Now, how much more is it? 480 subtract 360 is 120. So we're going to go all the way around. So 360 plus 120. All right, so all the way around one time. Now 12 is divisible by 3 4 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's going to go right here. And I'm going to make this triangle. I'm going to make that triangle off to the side. This angle is 60, 30, and there's my right triangle. Okay, so remember this is landing in quadrant number 2, and that will make a difference when I go back at the very end to decide what should be the signs of each of the 6 different trig functions. All right, let's start here with this is the angle that I'm looking at. So what is the sine? Well, let me first look. Opposite of 60 is radical 3, 1, and 2. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so radical 3 over 2. Cosine is 1 over 2. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. Now I'm going to flip this to get 2 over radical 3, 2 over 1, and 1 over radical 3. Not proper, radical 3, which is 2 radical 3 over 3. 2, and not proper, radical 3 over 3. All right, so it lands in quadrant number 2. In quadrant 2, only the signs are positive. So sine and the reciprocal are positive, everything else gets 1 negative. Let's take a look at 4, 5, and 6 that are not in degrees. Now we're back into radian measurements. So it's nice when the denominator is a 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1 revolution and back up to 9. All right, that's a 45-degree triangle here. 45-degree triangle, so I'm going to make that triangle off to the side here, 45 and 45. And this is the angle that we're going to look at. And this is a 1, and a square root of 2. Now here's where I can cheat. I know we've already done 45s. This was a 45. So I can take the exact same answers and I can write them down. I'm not going to put the signs, but radical 2 over 2, radical 2, radical 2 over 2, radical 2, 1, and 1. Now, when it comes to the signs, we're in quadrant 1, not in quadrant 4. So in quadrant 1, everything is positive. That means all of these are positive. And here are my 6 different evaluating the trig functions for all 6. All right, I like that there's a 6 on the bottom. So remember, 1 time around when 6 on the bottom is 12. So 12 and 12 is 24, but I forgot, there's a negative sign. So there's 112, now up to 24, and then 1 more. So it's looking like this. And that interior angle right here is going to be 30 degrees. Let me draw that triangle again. This is 30, this is 60. Opposite of 30 is 1, opposite of 60 is radical 3, and this is a 2. This is the angle that I'm looking at. So the sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so 1 over 2. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse. Tangent is opposite over adjacent. And now I'm going to flip them, 2 over 1, 2 over radical 3, and radical 3 over 1. Okay, all of these work except for the last one. We'd have to put it into a proper form here. Radical 3 over 3. And make this one proper. Radical 3, 2, radical 3 over 3. Okay, this lands in quadrant number 4. In quadrant 4, the cosines are the only ones that are positive. Everything else receives 1 negative. Okay, let's go on to the last one. Now I'm going to rewrite this to make sure I have a 6 in the bottom is 16 pi over 6. Now 1 revolution is 12. How do I get that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right, so this is 60 degrees. Let me make that mark. This is 60, this is 30, and this is pi. Opposite of 60 is radical 3, opposite of 30 is 1. This is this interior angle closest to the origin is what I'm going to evaluate. So here the sine is going to be opposite over hypotenuse, radical 3 over 2. Cosine is 1 over 2. Tangent is just the ratio of opposite over adjacent, radical 3 over 1. Now let's flip them. 2 over radical 3, 2 over 1, and 1 over radical 3. All of these are in proper form. I do need to rewrite this as 2 radical 3 over 3. And that's fine, and this needs to be rewritten as radical 3 over 3. So I have my 6 different answers, but this lands in which quadrant? Quadrant 2. In quadrant 2, only the signs are positive. So sine and its reciprocal are positive, everything else gets 1 negative.